What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ready Bet Action. I am your host this week, coming to you solo while the other guys are out wrapping up some holiday travel, going to see the CU Buffs bowl game. Who's questioning whose commitment now, guys? Look, we're here to talk about the NFL, Week 17. It's been a fun year. We are wrapping the season up at this point. You've got 1 week left where all the starters are playing. You've got a handful of teams fighting for number one seeds. You've got a handful of teams fighting for the first draft pick. There's still some fun stuff going on. Um, we're going to dive in here, and we are going to start with our game picks. Bills are at home against the Jets, and we're going to take the Bills team total over 27.5 points. Look, we all saw the Bills implode last week against the Pats, and there's simply no way that this team is going to do this 2 weeks in a row, especially at home. Prior to last week, they had hit this number in 8 straight games, and the Jets, they've got nothing left to play for at this point. You know, on paper, that defense is good with Sauce Gardner and Mr. Charcucci man, Quentin Williams. But they've given up more recently here, and I think for the last 5 weeks it was 25 points to the Jags, 32 points to the Dolphins, 26 to the Seahawks, 28 to the Colts, and 31 to the Cardinals. So don't get me wrong, they've gotten close to this number with these offenses that are not near as explosive as the Bills. So I just like the Bills to get back on track here at home and really get over 27. I don't care if you ladder this one to 30. Moving on, we are going to go to the Eagles, also at home. We got some home picks this week, which is very abnormal for me. Eagles at home, first half, -4.5. You can get it at +102. Look, the Cowboys, they just kind of announced their intentions for the rest of the season when they finally benched CeeDee Lamb with that shoulder injury. He's been playing through it for like 6 weeks. Last week, he came out last week they lost their playoff chances. And then CeeDee comes out and says, "Hey, I want to keep playing," and the Cowboys say, "No, we're going to bench you." So they've just kind of announced their intentions here. They're done. They're fighting for a better pick now. And you've got Cooper Rush with Brandon Cooks and Jalen Tolbert against who was it? Quinyon Mitchell. There it is. We got there. Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay. So there's no way those guys are going to keep up. So give me the Eagles first half -4.5 at +102. And then we're going to pull a Ready Bet Action special and go with a little two-leg parlay here. We're going to go Lions first half money line at the 49ers with a Colts first half money line at the Giants at some +112. Look, the Lions, they're still fighting for that home playoff seed. The number one seed there, and they've got a lot to play for, and the 49ers have been kind of trash this year. I mean, granted, they are banged up, and that is not looking any better for them this week. They're still going to have a combination of who is it, Deebo Samuel and Patrick Taylor, I believe it is, at running back. Garindo is probably going to be out again, so they're down to their 6th and 7th string quarter or running back now. Deebo already couldn't catch the ball, and now he's not even going to be on the outside as much. You're stuck with George Kittle and Jawan Johnson. Jawan Johnson has been fading out. Like, this 49ers team is just not good. They're out of the playoffs. Meanwhile, you have the Lions coming in hot, averaging 18.7 first half points, and Jahmyr Gibbs is just going to absolutely eat. So yeah, give me the Lions first half on the money line, and then the Colts first half on the money line against the Giants. If you watch the Giants play football, they're giving up on life. And on top of giving up on life, now you have Malik Neighbors, who is your only player who's injured and likely going to miss. I say likely, possibly going to miss this week. So they're just, yeah, they've given up on football. And then the Colts. Look, the Colts, Jonathan Taylor has come into full form here. We'll talk about him here in a bit in player props. But the man is just absolutely eating, and he's going to continue to do so here against the Giants, who have one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. So he's going to carry them just fine. So give me the Lions first half money line and give me the Colts first half money line at a nice little +112. That's going to wrap it up for our game picks. Let's go talk about some props. My favorite play of the week, you can call this my homer play of the year. I do not care. Give me Michael Penix, and we're going to go over 200 passing yards. This is the lowest I think you will get this number for the rest of his career. Look, the Commanders' passing defense on paper, they're stingy, but let's break it down. Let me read you the list of quarterbacks that they've played and their last like 9 consecutive games. Kenny Pickett, Spencer Rattler, Will Levis, Cooper Rush, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones, Caleb Williams, and Andy Dalton. Of that list, over half of them were not even starters in week 1. So, like, I get it. They've done really good against this not great list of quarterbacks, minus Jalen Hurts. When they've played better quarterbacks, such as Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, they've been torched for over 320 yards and multiple touchdowns. Am I saying Michael Penix is those guys? Absolutely not. But look, if you watched the Falcons last week, Penix was decisive. He was accurate. He protected the football. He was not putting it in harm's way. He did come out with 1 pick last week, but that's because Kyle Pitts simply caught the ball and threw it straight to the Giants defender. The Falcons had some drops last week, and I just like Penix to come in and be the best quarterback on this team here while they're fighting for the playoffs. They literally cannot lose if they will want to make the playoffs. I was impressed by Penix. I've been, if you guys have followed us this season, fading Kirk Cousins tremendously. As a Falcons fan, it was just a terrible sign. So, anyways, Michael Penix over 200 passing yards and get it at minus 115. Let's move into a string of running back props here. We're going to go with Jonathan Taylor over 103 rushing yards at minus 110. We've already talked about that game a little bit. And Jonathan Taylor coming in on his last 3, hitting 218 yards, 107, and 96. And now he gets the Giants, who have given up and are giving up a ton of rushing yards every single week. So I like Taylor to continue to eat here. Going over 103 and a half rushing yards at minus 110. Now we're going to move into a man that's made us a lot of money in the last, 2 months of the football season. Bucky Irvin going over 81 and a half rushing yards at minus 125. This man continues to ball out week in and week out. Even though he's technically not listed as the number 1 running back on the depth chart, he continues to be treated like that once the game starts every single week. The Bucks are playing. They have to win out, and the Falcons have to lose essentially for the Bucks to make the playoffs here. So they've got a lot to play for, a lot across their fingers, especially playing this game before the Falcons have a tough matchup against the Commanders. And then it was just announced literally this morning that Chuba Hubbard is going on the IR. And so now you are stuck with Bryce and company throwing to Adam Thielen. And I just don't think that that's going to be enough to really succeed here. You've got to have a two-way offense for him to be able to be effective. And now, is it still Miles Sanders behind Chuba Hubbard? I honestly don't even remember. So I just don't see a world in which the Panthers can do enough here without Chuba Hubbard running for over 100 like he's been doing the last 6 weeks. So yeah, give me Bucky to just absolutely tear up this rushing defense, who has given up, I think it was 165 yards a game. That's enough for Bucky and Rachaad White to split carries and still both go over this number. So yeah, it's going to hit and be excited about it. The last running back prop that I'm super pumped about, Saquon Barkley at home against the Cowboys, going over 112 rushing yards. We talked extensively about Saquon last week and how he's going after the rushing total NFL record here. And I did misspeak last week. They are not playing the Giants this week, obviously. They're playing the Giants next week. And he only needs 250 more yards, I think it is now, after going for like 160 last week against the Commanders. So they're going to feed him. Jalen Hurts out with a concussion still. Kenny Pickett came in last week. And I mean, yeah, he's still Kenny Pickett. So you're only going to feed the ball to Saquon against the Cowboys team who's depleted and does not have CeeDee Lamb anymore. There's no point in trying to drop back with Kenny Pickett when you have Saquon Barkley back there just ready to absolutely tear it up. So Saquon over 112 rushing yards. He's gone over 108 of his last 10. The Cowboys are giving up over 135 rushing yards a game. This is just the perfect formula. Feel free to ladder this one to plus 120. You can parlay it with a touchdown. I think I briefly looked, and with a touchdown, the over 112 with a touchdown was up at like plus 130 or plus 140. So a lot of ways that you can play this one there and still be set up for some good money. The last prop, we are going to Saturday football in a game of the Broncos versus the Bengals, and we are taking Ja'Marr Chase under 95.5 receiving yards. I get it. This is scary because it's Ja'Marr Chase, and he's been on fire. There's been so much hype around him this year because it's the only thing the Bengals can really do is score points because their defense is that bad. However, Chase has still gone under this number in 7 of his last 10. I was shocked when I realized that. And now he gets to go against the best corner in the game in Pat Surtain. Yeah, dog, this ain't hidden. Eric sent us a stat last week. So Pat Surtain has allowed a passer rating of 39.1 the entire season. If a quarterback intentionally spiked the ball into the ground every play, his quarterback or his passer rating would be 39.6. Literally, quarterbacks have better success throwing the ball into the dirt than they do throwing against Pat Surtain. So I just don't see a world in which this is the game that Ja'Marr continues his hot, crazy, massive, explosive game streak. It's not even a streak. He's done it like 3 times this year. So it's not going to happen. Take the under and let's move on. Last pick here, side piece bet. It hit last week. It's going to hit again this week. Jahmyr Gibbs with the Lions on the road, Monday Night Football against the 49ers. Jahmyr Gibbs, first touchdown scorer, plus 340. Last week we hit it at plus 240, and now it's up to plus 340. All the same reasons I said last week. The Giants running backs have scored first in all but 2 games this year. And 2 of those 4 games, the Lions running back scored first for the Lions. The other team just happened to score a touchdown first. So if this is over plus 340 with Montgomery out, I'm taking it every week. I don't care. Yeah, it's happening. Half a unit there. That's it. We made it. Thanks for tagging along. This is the part of the show where we sum everything up. But before we do that, go find us on all the socials. Hit all the fun, nice, happy buttons. And give us a follow, give us a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And let's run this down. We're going to start out with the Bills team total over 27.5 points, minus 115. Then we're going to take the Eagles minus 4.5 points in the first half at home against the Cowboys. And then we're going to wrap up our games with a nice little 2-leg parlay here. We're going to go Lions first half money line against the 49ers with a Colts first half money line against the Giants. You can get that at a nice, lovely plus 112. Wrapping us up with our player props. My homer pick of the week, Michael Penix over 200 passing yards at minus 115. Jonathan Taylor over 103 rushing yards, minus 110. Bucky Irvin against the Panthers this week, over 81.5 rushing yards at minus 125. Ja'Marr Chase, he's going to be stuffed, going under 95.5 receiving yards at minus 112. And Saquon Barkley going after the rushing title, over 112 rushing yards at minus 115. And then a nice little half unit side piece bet on Jahmyr Gibbs, first touchdown scorer at plus 340. That's it. As Eric says, that's how we're going to make some money this week. Give us a follow on all the fun socials, and we will catch you guys here in a few days for the next round of the college football playoffs. Hope everybody had a good Christmas. Enjoy your New Year's. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll catch you on the next show.